TVNZ just ring you out of the blue,
Yep.
and they turn up and you happen to have all these protest placards ready.
We had already been talking about how people go through a process of what is a protest? What do people do?
So do you have protest as the syllabus at the school?
We don't have a process, but because it's a relevant topic at present, that the children are trying to work through as well, because, I mean, it's big on their minds as well. It's a huge change for them.
Yeah.
That we were trying to incorporate, okay, this is what this is what a protest is about. What information you need to find out. What are feelings? How? Because in a lot of protests, it is very emotional.
Yeah. Have you talked to the kids about economic rationalisation, about the allocation of public funds to education? Have you also educated them on that, or have you just gone for the emotion?
Well, at the moment we're trying to work through the emotions, and then we'll get down to logic. Because if we work through emotions, quite often you can't get the logic across.
Okay, so what were the banners for that the kids drew up?
Some of the banners were just trying for the children to express themselves.
Okay.
Because children express themselves in different ways.
Okay.
And that was just trying to get some of the emotion out of them.
Okay, and being on TV was good for that, do you think?
I suppose it could go two ways. A lot of it, the children just want to get out there. They want to get their story across.
I'm wondering if this isn't more a case of the teachers wanting to get their story across and using the kids.
Okay, the teachers do want to get their story across, but
they
they
do.
would not use the children to do that.
Do you see how many people look at the appearance of your children being taught by their teachers how to clench their fists and your slogans on TV as highly inappropriate?
Yes, I can see their views there on that. I can understand where they're coming from.
Do you seriously expect me to believe that it's the kids who was driving this, not your teachers and you?
Well, I was actually just on the ad break there, just speaking to the acting principal who was in that classroom at that time, and she was saying it's actually the children themselves that wanted to go out on a protest and wanted to write up banners and everything like that. So they've then changed that lesson into a persuasive text to do with writing. And have been talking about what do you need to, if you need to get your message across, how do you get it across in something short?
Okay. Do you consider it the role of a primary school to teach protest action to children, or do you think, I mean, how are you going in terms of your national standards there at Aruia? Are you covering the basics as well as this political activism thing?
Most definitely. And politics is a part of life anyway, so they do need to be taught about some politics.
Do you think that's the role of a school?
Well, it's not part of our curriculum, but at the moment it's a valid topic.
So it's not part of... And who decides it's a valid topic?
The children have brought it up.
So you are quite happy to have a school where the children decide what they're going to learn?
No, the teacher has turned it into part of the curriculum, turned it into writing, turned it into language, and about how to get your message across.
Are you doing well at the national standards? Are your kids all performing above?
We've got a good percentage of our children performing above.
Yeah.
Like all schools, you have it right across the board.
Can you understand those who would look and say, keep the kids out of politics, out of these discussions? That's for grown-ups. That's for you, the Board of Trustees, the teachers and the parents.
Yeah, I can definitely see their point of view, but maybe if something that is just so emotional that is happening to their families, to their community, maybe then they'll be able to take a step back and think, well, yeah, actually children have a voice as well.
Okay. Have you talked about this as in relation to the government or the Ministry of Education?
As the government. We just refer to it as the government, as opposed to just trying to label it onto the minister or something like that. We're just
okay, so it's not party political? Your Board of Trustees isn't dominated by Labour voters?
No.
Do you have, is the NZEI active amongst your teacher body?
They do belong to the NZEI, and they have brought them out talking to the teachers because they need to know what's happening about their jobs and how it's going to be handled and what's happening with them, but they aren't politically active in our school.
You don't need to be with students like yours. I thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
Lynn Bates, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Aruia School. There's her view. It's supposedly all been driven by the kids. The question now is, Do you believe her?